welcome to Morningstar. Fundsmith Equity Fund won the Morningstar Award for Investing Excellence 2022 within the Global Equity Fund category. Today, I'm very pleased to be joined by Fundsmith founder, chief executive, and manager of the fund, Terry Smith. Thank you, Terry, and congratulations.
Thank you. Pleasure.
So what are the key ingredients to your fund's longer-term accomplishment, in your view?
Yeah, I'd really base it, I think, on two factors. One is, at the core of Fundsmith, we have a team that's worked together for quite a long time. In particular, Julian and I, Julian's our head of research, have worked together for 36 years. It's quite a long time. So we know each other very well and understand what it is we're trying to accomplish. The other thing is we've got a strategy which we put in place long before we founded Fundsmith. I actually tested it on the Tullett Prebon Pension Fund when I was the chief executive of Tullett Prebon for a decade before we opened Fundsmith. So unlike some people who I think launch a fund and then afterwards decide, oh, well, what should we buy and what should we hold and so on, we had a pretty clear view of what it is we wanted to buy and hold long before we opened the fund. And I think that's really stood us in good stead, because one of the big dangers for people is style drift. And I think there's very little likelihood given that background with us.
Right. Let's now look at what is going on in Ukraine. The Russian invasion has led to a humanitarian tragedy, of course, and caused the financial markets to collapse. Now we're facing the threat of stagflation with a peak in commodities prices. How have you reacted in terms of asset allocation in your portfolio, if you have? And more broadly, how does this situation change your investment strategy?
It doesn't really change our investment strategy. If you look at what we do, we seek to invest in good companies, which we define basically as companies that are able to sustain very high returns on capital and grow their revenues organically through a secular growth rate. And that leads us into things like consumer goods, healthcare, and technology as our three prime sectors. And if you look at the Russian economy, it's basically a resource economy. It's about 3% of GDP, or it was, but it's only 1 or 2% of the world's consumer demand. So it doesn't have much direct effect on us. I think our most affected company has 6% of revenues in Russia. So it's not got much direct effect, but the indirect effects, which you touch upon, I think are important. I think we quite possibly are in for a period of stagflation, like the one that followed the Yom Kippur War in 1973. And there, I think our companies with their high gross margins have the best possible protection. Basically, the input costs are not a high proportion of their costs, and they are relatively able to raise prices because of their powerful market shares and brands. So, look, I think it will be painful for absolutely all investors, this situation, but relatively speaking, I think our strategy is in a good place.
Thanks so much to Terry Smith, and congratulations again for this achievement.
Thank you.